Hello everybody, my name is Aiden and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, as per usual, we'll be looking at articles recently, and one article came up that was suggesting why the Bulls' demise inevitably happened with this current, or I shouldn't even say current, with the last Bulls team that you probably may have seen play. And ultimately, I think this was a comment from Nikola Vucevic. I want to discuss it, and I want to discuss where the failures may have lied, even in the demise. Because I think the demise, it can clearly be explained, sure, but at the end of the day, there is more to it that meets the eye. So let's discuss it in this video. What led to the Bulls' demise, and how did we end up making it worse? Before we get any further, if you liked the video and you want to see more from me, drop a like, drop a follow, and or subscribe if you are new. And let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the Chicago Bulls, and what did you think caused the demise, and why do you think the demise stayed the way that it did? Ultimately, a lot of questions and answers here, ladies and gentlemen, but again, it's a nice little video to kind of maybe stir up old emotions. I don't really know, but at the end of the day, this is what we're going to be talking about today. So this was a comment from Nikola Vucevic. Basically, when asked upon this question, he kind of said, ever since we had lost Lonzo Ball, that things were just never the same since then. The Bulls couldn't really rally or couldn't really find a way back from that situation since that injury. Now, that is a very big statement to make, and ultimately, I don't think there is any fault in that statement. I do believe Lonzo Ball is a massive reason why the Bulls kind of fell away in the first season that we had, and from the season then on, and the season after that as well. Of course, it plays a big factor. There's a couple of things I want to say, because as big as of a factor as it was, it's still, in my opinion, not the only reason. At the end of the day, Lonzo Ball and the way the Bulls played, it was massive night and day difference. But you started to kind of see the demise even when Lonzo Ball was playing. Those last couple of games before Lonzo Ball got hurt, you started to see the Bulls become a bit too predictable. There was a game against Boston and then Golden State where we got absolutely destroyed in those games. And you could tell that the Bulls were kind of falling away. We were never going to stay the first seed is what I'm trying to say. We were never going to be the team that, was really going to be that competitive in the Eastern Conference. At least I don't think so. Now, of course, it could have just been a bad run, and maybe the Bulls would have been a top 4 team or would have been first in the Eastern Conference. I guess in that way we are dealing with a hypothetical situation that no one can truly predict. But I do have to say, Lonzo Ball is a big, big loss. Of course he was. And hopefully we can see him return to a relatively close level when he does come back into the NBA. But I can't sit there and say he's the only reason why the Bulls struggle. There were still isolation issues with Lonzo Ball in the team as well. There was still a little bit of that rim protection issue when Lonzo Ball was still on the team as well. It was still all there. It may have not been as present or as noticeable, but the problem still remained when it came to the Chicago Bulls team. And inevitably, it would have been found out. Whether it would have been that season or the season after or the season after that, I still believe we would have been found out as a team eventually. But still, it is a big loss. It is a very big loss. But at the end of the day, that is one part of the video. Nikola Vucevic basically saying Lonzo Ball is the reason why the Bulls kind of fell on that demise. By the way that he kind of stated that comment and in those quotations and stuff of that nature makes me believe he's talking in the past tense. Does that necessarily mean that he's going to be a Chicago Bull? I'm just throwing it out there. But again, don't take anything into that, but it's just the way that I think these days. With that being said, though, I think this is more of a problem of the front office and what the front office did after the Lonzo Ball situation. Because yes, the Bulls fell into a demise after Lonzo Ball got hurt. We finished in the 6th seed. We ended up getting eliminated in the first round in a 5-game effort, and we didn't really make any sort of recovery since then. And that's the problem. The Bulls' demise was there, but the recovery never came. The recovery never came, the bounce back never came, the ability to fight back, the ability to make the moves to get us back to where we needed to be never came. Those continuity words, the one trade in 2 years. Those things, in my opinion, is more on the Bulls' demise than just the Lonzo Ball injury. Because at the end of the day, You obviously knew for a while, at least I think the Bulls knew for a while, that Lonzo Ball wasn't going to be back anytime soon. So why couldn't they find an active replacement, a true replacement for what he was able to bring? I think, we signed a lot of guards, but none of them really fulfilled that role. Guys like Goran Dragic, for example. We signed Goran Dragic. He never really fulfilled that type of role. Even guys like Javon Carter never really fulfilled that type of role. We're very lucky in many ways to have guys like Io and Kobe step up to the plate to try and make up for what Lonzo Ball, I guess, left behind in many ways. But regardless, the bounce back never came. And that's where the Bulls' demise is. One injury, sure, that's the beginning of the demise. That is obviously the signal of the demise. But the demise for me is that the Bulls never responded to that. And you can't be stagnant as a team in the NBA. You just can't. If this Bulls management truly believed that this Bulls team could have went on and competed, they needed to make the proper adjustments and the proper changes. They needed to go into a situation where they're applying for things, like the injury or the disabled player exception, whatever the case may be. They needed to do these things earlier than what they did. They needed to find a way to sign players. Maybe they needed to make a bigger trade earlier. They needed to do something to try and stop the demise happening the way that it did. And that's the problem with continuity. That is when the Bulls struggled, in my opinion, the most. Not the injury of Lonzo Ball, what happened afterwards. And I think everybody can see that. And that's why continuity is such a scary word. If I say continuity to a Bulls fan, there's a chance I could get hit. There's a chance they could run away in fear. There's a genuine chance that they could say, stop what you're saying right now. Continuity isn't the bad thing, ladies and gentlemen. It's a bad thing when bad things kind of happen before that. It's a bad thing when you're not competing. But continuity in of itself is actually not a bad thing. So, hypothetically, if the Bulls do have a returning Lonzo Ball, and for whatever reason they make a top 6, top 4 run in the Eastern Conference, continuity will not be the worst thing in the world. It just won't. I think people will actually like continuity in that regard. But again, you got to minimize and you got to learn to adapt. I think that has to be the Bulls' lesson from here on out. Learn how to adapt to any situation that you are put in. Don't just wait and expect things to be okay again and do nothing in the process. Sometimes you have to make those changes. You got to be desperate. You got to want it. You got to want to try and compete. You want to try to make some changes. Not everything can stay the same. It's the definition of insanity at the end of the day. Doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting different results. At some point, we have to learn and build out of that. We've started that with this Bulls team, with the trading of Alex Caruso and the sign and trade of DeMar DeRozan and bringing in some younger talents, signing some younger talents. It's clear that now we're starting to get out of that continuity mode and the demise of the Chicago Bulls. And we'll see where things go from there, but there has to be more. You can't just stay stagnant. You've done and you've completed, in my opinion, multiple trades that determines your future. Now you've got to follow through on the rest of them. So it's quite an interesting story, ladies and gentlemen. But do you agree that the Bulls' demise came from the Lonzo Ball injury? Or are you in the mindset that the Lonzo Ball injury started the demise, but the true demise is what happened after Lonzo Ball's injury and the lack of response that came with it? The hoping that Lonzo Ball can come back instead of taking initiative and actually trying to find someone that can help do Lonzo Ball's role better, or not even better, at a competent level. The players we signed simply just didn't get the job done in that regard, and the Bulls failed in that area. So, what do you guys think? With that being said, time to end the video. Thank you for watching. Drop a like and a follow and or subscribe if you are new, and I will see you in the next one. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay tuned for more. Take care, and peace.